Swiss cake rolls at home? Yes, please. Today I'm going to take you on a little trip down memory lane back to middle school, but without the bullying and without the acne. Back to the part that we all loved, Swiss cake rolls at lunchtime. Hi, I'm Trish. Welcome back to my kitchen. If you stick around, I'm going to show you step by step how to recreate the thing that we all loved about our middle school lunches right in your own kitchen. This is so easy. Anyone can do it. You just need half a cup of flour, a full cup of sugar. You're going to need 4 eggs that you separate the yolk from the white, and if you can let it get to room temperature, that's best. You'll want a 1/4 cup of baking powder that's unsweetened. You're also going to want, you're going to want a 1/4 cup of cocoa powder that's unsweetened. You're going to want a teaspoon of baking powder. You'll want a 1/4 cup of oil and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. That's it. After our cake is in the oven, I'll show you how to make the filling. The first step is to take your egg whites, not the yolk, not the whole thing, because we want this to be fluffy. And we're going to put this in the mixer and let it get a little bit fluffy. Then we're going to slowly add the sugar. We want these 2 ingredients to combine and be stiff and form peaks. That's critical. After we do that, we are going to combine our dry ingredients, the cocoa powder and the baking powder and the salt. We're then going to add to our peak mixture the egg yolks, and slowly we're going to add the dry ingredients. So let's get started. Now that our batter is just the way we like it and it's rather thick, I'm going to show you how to put it on the sheet so it bakes up correctly and it's easy to roll. I take a stick of butter and I use a piece of parchment paper. My pans are 8 by 13. I'm going to rub the butter on here in a plaid pattern. So we want to make a grid, and this will help it separate after it bakes. I'm going to use my rubber spatula, and we're going to pour a strip right down the center of our paper. It should be nice and thick and really hold its shape. We don't want to let it go all the way to the edge. We're going to rely on surface tension to get it to hold its shape. And we will gently spread it out with the rubber spatula and make a nice rectangle pattern. My oven has been preheating to 350. This mix should give me enough to do about 3 rolls in this size. Remember, it's important to not let it go all the way to the edge of the paper. If it does, it's not a crisis. We can fix it. We fix a lot of things around here. But if we can just get it to behave the first time around, that's ideal. There we go. We've got a perfect rectangle and it's ready to go in the oven now. It's only going to need about 10 minutes to bake, and then we're going to set it on a wire rack to cool. It does need to cool completely before we can put the filling in. Now that our cake is out of the oven, you're going to see why we put it on baking paper. We're going to carefully slide it off the pan, and it's important to do this while it's still very warm. We'll take it, and starting at the end, you very carefully roll it up. There we go. You want to make sure it doesn't get too brown and crispy on the edges, because that does make it more difficult to roll, but not impossible. Just like brownies are warm and chewy out of the pan, this will be too. And don't worry if it's not beautiful, we can fix that. There we go. We've got it into a nice roll, and we're going to set it on a wire rack to cool. While our cakes are cooling on the wire rack, I'm going to show you how to make the filling. This is so easy. It's the filling that I use as my go-to for most of the cakes I make. It's a cup of powdered sugar. It's an 8-ounce brick of cream cheese. And this is one of the places where I am specific about the brand. I really like Philly. And of course, a plop of sour cream. We determined in previous videos that a plop comes out to about a tablespoon, maybe a little more. You just need a little something to add moisture to your powdered sugar so it doesn't fly all over the place. I'm going to mix this up in here. There we go. And I'll put that in the stand mixer and give it about 3 minutes. All right, well, hopefully we've all grown up a little bit since middle school, and that includes our taste buds evolving just a little bit. So what we're gonna do is give this a little grown-up flair. I am gonna take some cocoa powder and put it in a strainer, and this is what I'm gonna unroll my cake onto. The cake is gonna be a little bit sticky when we unroll it. That's okay. So we put the dark powder down first. Then I'm going to take some powdered sugar. The next part that people are going to really love and not realize what you actually did. I'm using instant coffee that I'm going to grind up. We'll sprinkle that on there. This not only gives you a sugar buzz, but it gives you a caffeine buzz. Perfect. And the last little bit, this is kind of the secret ingredient, is just a little touch of cinnamon. That's what makes it taste like the holidays. Now, if you overbake your cake a little bit, you can trim the edges with a serrated knife to help it unroll. It's best to underbake this rather than to overbake it. I'm going to gently unroll this. There we go. Now, I have made 3 cakes, so I'm going to use about 1/3 of my filling. And remember, any mistakes that happen during this, we can always cover it with frosting. Need to get this up under the ledge here. Of course, the filling is the best part, so we don't want to skimp on that. Make sure you get it all the way out to the edges. After you roll it, you can always trim it to make it look prettier. Okay, now we're going to gently roll it. And you see what is happening. The powder from the tray is coating our cake, and that's providing an additional layer. There we go. Isn't that gorgeous? All right, I'm going to set that on my finished tray. And I have to take these to a party, so I'm probably going to pour a hot fudge over the top, and then I'm going to slice them into little pinwheels. Here are the beautiful Swiss cake rolls, all finished. We had to pivot at the last minute, and they don't have fudge because that was a little too messy. But they're still delicious and completely party appropriate. I hope you make these, and I hope you love them. Bon appetit!